Hey guys, good morning. It's Tony. So I wanted to go again. I wanted to continue the series of just an overview of the market right before like a pre-market overview, right? And I've been doing this for the last couple of days, and so far, we've essentially hit every single target, which is pretty solid, right? Like yesterday's video in the morning, I did say that I was looking for another push to like around 374, 376 on the SPX. We actually hit the bottom of the range that I wanted, which is around 374-ish, right? We almost hit 374. I was a couple of cents off. The SPY probably hit actually, I don't think the SPY hit 374, but again, we were close to there before just being completely obliterated to the downside, right? And the 4 hour actually did close yesterday on the bull side. Unfortunately, it only lasted about 4 hours. You actually had a huge. I actually entered the market at 368, took it all the way up. I adjusted my stops on options. I got taken out on an option that I had on my Robinhood, made a couple $100 on my Webull. Unfortunately, it didn't like trigger I had to sell it manually on Robinhood, and then on Webull, it didn't trigger my stop loss. So unfortunately, I am still in calls. I'm down about 40% on those calls, because I think I bought like 380s or something, right? But I do think that in the next hour and a half, by 6 o'clock in the morning, if we do close another bull trigger here, I am going to be looking for another push to possibly around 368, 372. And the only reason why I'm still a little bullish is because it does look like we can still close that weekly bull trigger, right? And if we do that, I am expecting us to push again next week, even though we had some pretty horrific, not horrific. I wouldn't say, Snap earnings was all that bad. I actually thought that they did better than I actually thought that the earnings was a lot better than what everybody thought was going to happen. But they actually ended up selling off essentially 30%, which is the kind of ridiculous part, right? I don't think that they deserve this sell-off, to be honest. I don't think they did as bad as everybody thought they were. So they did drop a ridiculous amount. I didn't play Snapchat. I don't like playing earnings. It's not my kind of thing. But as of right now, again, yesterday, we hit that bottom of the range, right? I was looking for 374. We almost hit 374, a couple of cents off before dropping down to the low side extremely quickly. So I did manage to get out of my Robinhood calls. But my Webull, unfortunately, is still open, and I'm trying to get out of those calls maybe sometime today if we do actually run to the upside again. Before this is my position right now. I should probably get out of this because more than likely it does look like, well, I'll wait an hour and a half, right? Because it does look like we might be actually push again to the upside. The only thing that's kind of concerning is concerning is that we actually did break. We did break trend on the DXY. So would not be surprised to see the dollar drop here, drop back, retest, and then push to the upside. So as of right now, I am expecting a retrace on the dollar, which means that we can actually push again to the upside on basically the indices and the whole stock market, right? So I would not be surprised to see us back today at like 372 to retest, and then we can possibly have another further drop to the low side. But it's kind of weird because we do have the SPXY closing a bear trigger, and this is relatively, I would say, a perfect entry on the bear trigger. The 16-hour has been pretty reliable on when we would have shorted, right? So we would have taken this short at close. You would have shorted the market at 369, right? You would have taken this all the way down to 363 possibly yesterday, right? So it's been pretty reliable. The 8-hour does look like it looks like it wants to close on the bull side, but I think the reason I'm having such an issue with direction right now is because on the weekly, you actually have that bull trigger, right? And every single time we close that bull trigger, you've tend to rally pretty hard, right? You actually rally from here, and within 2 months or so, you ended up running from a close of 390 all the way back to 430, right, on the perfect entry. And again, this perfect entry, you still popped a little bit to the upside, but this was a false trigger, came back down. And again, perfect entry, you went from close of 447 all the way up to 464, so a solid 20 points. And the only other times that it's actually given a perfect entry was back here for COVID, right, where I actually ended up closing right at 280, right? 279, 280. And then that was essentially the start of the market being pumped. And again, back here at, 250-ish, right? It gave another trigger back here. Where is it? Back here. But at this point, we're just trailing down super hard. But again, it's really only given bullish closes at relative bottoms of the market, right? So I'm not saying we're gonna hit a bottom right now, but what I am thinking is this could be a potential bottom where we actually push from here to the upside, even though earnings, potentially could be worse for the rest of the next 2 weeks or so. Which, again, I don't think Snapchat earnings were as bad as everybody thought it was going to be. I actually think they're extremely oversold, and I'm actually going to be purchasing a lot of Snapchat. Possibly today, or in like the coming weeks, because I think that Snapchat is actually extremely undervalued at these levels. So I will more than likely be picking up Snapchat. Again, short term for today. If we do close in an hour and a half, I do think we have a solid chance of running back to like 368, 372. I'm looking for that range today. If we do close that bull trigger down here, and the DXY does look like it's gonna follow, because you actually do have, you have a nice little retrace. It does look like we might come back and retest trend. I'd guess you probably come back to maybe like 112.8, somewhere around that, wick down to the trend, and then that's when you actually moon. So I think if we're gonna actually run to the upside, I think the last chance that we have of catching a swing to the upside is possibly today, maybe Monday, Tuesday. So you can actually see the DX, so you can actually watch the DXY come back down, retest that trend, and then move to the upside. But again, this all depends on if we're actually going to be closing in an hour and a half a bull trigger, which I think can actually take us, significantly higher. I think we can actually push between the range of 368 to 372 today for the SPX, which I think is, extremely possible. With that being said, today I am, I'm only bullish if we close at 6 a.m., that 4-hour trigger to the upside. If nothing happens and we end up dumping from here to then we'll more than likely everybody, short down to like, 354. And then on the daily, right, it looks like we are going to be pushing down. So if we do close, that's the thing though, I don't even know what I'm going to do today by the end of the day. Because usually if we have a bear trigger like this, I end up shorting the market like heavy. But the other issue is that we're actually going to be closing a bullish week on SPY. So if I had to guess, I'd say I'd probably have to say up, to be honest. If we close a bullish in 9 hours and 24 minutes, if we close a bullish week, I'd have to guess that we've hit a potential bottom. You can possibly see us going back down to maybe like 357, but if that weekly stays bullish, I would not be surprised if you rebound extremely hard here and end up going, north. But again, it's kind of variable right now because nothing is kind of set in the cards. Everything is still I'm waiting for everything to close. But again, very high likelihood that we actually close a bullish week today, to be completely honest. So as of right now, short term, I am looking for 368, 372 again sometime today. If we actually do not hit these ranges and we continue pushing to the upside, there's going to be a lot of bullish momentum going into next week. So just be careful about that. I'll see everybody later. If you made it this far in the video, I forgot to say in the beginning to please give me a like and subscribe and comment. The likes have been definitely helping out. You guys have been pushing the likes like crazy. I've been noticing a lot of my videos being pushed out to everybody else, which is fantastic. I really appreciate all the support. Thank you all for all the help and all the support over the last like year and a half, 2 years. I don't even know how long I've been doing this. How long I've been doing this for, but thank you all. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Bye bye.